Becoming the Apex. This guide is an advanced guide to take your insectglaive play to the next level. Would you like to become more of a dominant force? Have you ever wondered, how can I get better with this weapon? Well, this guide is for you. I'm going to run through 5 sections and talk in some detail about best practice and elements of combat to work on to become the ultimate glaive hunter. Starting with number 1, really simple. Sneak attacks and quick buff gathering. Hit this quick sneak attack. There is no need for mantles or patience. From seikret to combat in 4 seconds. Once the animation is complete, you want to be charging your kinsect and throw the full charge kinsect through the monster's body and then hit the air immediately. This will enable you to begin your control of the fight. I've had a lot of my friends and fellow hunters seem to put on a ghillie mantle and try to creep around this monster. You do not need to do that. You can get straight over there with the seikret. It requires a few seconds for that monster to realise you're there. Go around the back of it, jump off and start the hunt the best way possible with a quick burst of damage. And then a nice couple of seconds to throw that kinsect out. Number 2. It only takes 3 hits for the mount. Be aggressive with this when you solo. If you only have 2 hits in, dive for the 3rd. It doesn't matter what move of the monster's moveset happens, it stops everything. And it enables you to start that cycle of the mount animation, which is going to give you a breathing room, bit of control, and allow you to put that first topple down quickly. And then wound management in the mount. 2 wounds is all you will ever need. You need 1 body and 1 head. Start on the body if you want to, cycle between the 2, do whatever you need to do. But to maximise your damage, break the body wound to topple the monster and release your damage on an open wound on the head. If you want control and dominance, break the wound on the head, topple the monster and cycle into your finisher as the monster climbs back to its feet. Break the open wound at the right time and you will animation lock the monster and put yourself back into full buffs again. And best practice on this, be careful of your release on the finisher, unless you have full earplugs. As you release your finisher, which a lot of people do as you are underneath the monster to rip through its body as it's climbing back to its feet, if you time it too early, you will start the finisher, the monster will roar and you will lose all your buffs and not actually have put the damage out that you need to do. And then another piece of best advice from the rest of the community is do not be greedy in multiplayer hunts. So, when you start a mount in a multiplayer hunt and there's a hunting party of 4, you immediately cap the DPS of everybody else around you. So they cannot output anywhere near as much damage as they can because the monster is animation locked with you on its back. There's some benefits to this for longsword users and people out there who are starting the wound. They can get up through into the red bar, for example, but you will frustrate a lot of people if you are trying to do 3 wounds around that monster's body and taking a huge amount of time in the hunt and letting that monster just throw you around. You want to be getting on there, breaking open a wound and dropping that monster very quickly. Then moving into number 3. Your biggest damage is from the ground, not from the air, no matter how you look at it. But the air is your advantage for positioning and wound control. Set yourself up from the air to output your ground damage quickly. Find the rotation of the monster, spin your camera around to know where that monster's moving next and charge the pinpoint drop. This pinpoint drop with a full charge on circle or B, whichever option you're using, if you was to charge that in the air, is an offset attack. If you can time that correctly, the payoff is incredible. It really is. And it also allows you to position yourself with full charge to go straight into your finisher. When missed and you don't land the offset attack, if the monster's lining up to hit you with its next attack, always roll sideways. Immediately after landing, this will enable you not to be caught by anything that's coming your way. And then, all of a sudden, when you're in the ground combo, if the monster isn't toppled, staying underneath the monster, heading for its feet, is going to enable you to not be disturbed, and then you can release that full finisher and be well positioned if you've got the right wound above you. This is good advice in terms of what you need to be doing with focus mode. So you want to be in focus mode, cycling through the air, hit the pinpoint drop, come down, aim for something that's weak, especially on a foot. Keep that focus mode locked in underneath the monster's body and start to move yourself forwards. It will keep you safe and allow you to output a huge finisher underneath the monster. Number 4. Controlling the fight with wounds. Now, timing and patience is everything here. Tempered wounds toppled monsters, so don't break them too early. If you open a big blue wound on a wing or a leg or a foot or something, and that monster's already going through a section of animation, let's say you've toppled it and knocked it over, do not aim for that wound to break it until that monster's back in its normal animation window, because you could go for a full KO, have that monster down on the floor, start to output damage on its head knowing that the wound is available on its leg, and then rotate straight underneath as it gets to its feet, pop that wound on its leg and put it straight back down on the floor. So just be very conscious of your timing and patience with that, and it's gonna, once you get the timing down of that right, you are going to be able to consistently animation lock these monsters over and over again. Blunt kinsects can stagger with headshots and even full on KO. You time this well and it's another way to cycle a stun on the monster, but you've got to be cautious of how you do this when you're outputting DPS, that you don't do too much damage too quickly. And then offset attacks. They're overpowered both defensively and offensively. Hyper armor will allow you to stay locked in, and true offsets with full animation of the monster bouncing backwards is another form of flinch to keep you in control. Once you've got a couple of these things down and you start to cycle through the fight, you are going to be able to control the hunter. The monster is going to be fighting you. You're not going to be fighting this monster. And always, once full charge of your glaive is ready to start the animation from an offset, even if you haven't got the full view of it, it will land sometimes unexpectedly. And it will do more often than you believe, but it requires confidence to aim it. So if you have charged your glaive and you are ready to release circle or release B to start your full combo, to do that full winding swing, even if you're not completely certain that you're going to hit an offset there, aim for the monster's body part that is coming towards you. You can turn, you can spin a little 180, you can do whatever you want to in focus mode, but you will hit a lot of these until you really start to understand the timing of it, but you'll enable yourself a bit more DPS. But once that first hit and release has moved, if the monster isn't toppled, focus mode yourself under the monster's body and it'll allow you more safely in better position for the next couple of seconds. Once you're out of the combo, in the air and jump sideways. Don't be afraid to jump backwards also. So when you first pop your glaive into the floor and jump in the air and that monster's charging towards you, jump backwards, aim towards you, sat in your seat, and then bounce it straight back forwards. This will give you more time and more positioning to be able to do that as well. And then number 5, make your build complement your playstyle. The further you get with your control ability, the more you should strip survivability and aim for more damage at more risk. But when used correctly, you become a devastating force with a glaive. Evade Extender is your ally, even for DPS. It will allow you to become more agile and close gaps more quickly. It was a true game changer for me, it really was. And this is a snapshot of my current offensive build. Give this a try, and with a confident, dominant playstyle, this can really push the limits of damage and control. Thank you for watching. If you took any value from this, drop a comment below about anything you would add to this, and hit that subscribe button for more content in the future. And yeah, leave a like and subscribe. You know the vibes. Peace.